a private legal practitioner and a Catholic, Clement Akapalm, to help us understand exactly what is going on there in Rome. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us here on Newsfeed. It's been a few days coming, finally white smoke in the Vatican. How excited are you?
Well, as a Catholic, I am very excited. At this moment, all I can say is et unam sanctam catholicam et apostolicam ecclesiam.
Okay.
What that means is that I believe in the one holy Catholic and apostolic church. And that's what we are witnessing today. I'm very excited as a Catholic to see that white smoke has come out from the chimney on the Sistine Chapel, and that now we have a Pope who will be our 267th Pope. Very excited. What we are waiting for now is the introduction. And the introduction is also very important because how he comes out to St. Peter's Square will speak a lot. How he decides to dress, how he decides to address the people.
Okay.
And even the name he chooses from this time on will define his papacy. So very interesting times. Right from Easter Monday, we had the dull moment of the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis, and we've gone through a very thorough process backed by tradition, backed by prayers to elect a new pope. You cannot be excited, you cannot be any less excited for this. And as a Catholic, I am very, very excited, very excited.
You mentioned how he will dress, how he will address the crowd that has gathered in the Vatican. What would be your expectations of this new Pope when he's finally announced?
I think that my expectation is that we will have a Pope who will continue the reform agenda of Francis, that will have a Pope that will try and draw the church and take the church to the people. We'll have a Pope that will try and open the doors of the church to not only Catholics, but to others, like Pope Francis tried to do. So we're looking for a unifier as well, because within the church, there are certain issues that will need to be clarified, and we'll need a Pope that can unify God's people behind these issues. So for me, I will be happy that we will get a Pope that will continue on the line of Francis, a Pope that will try and unite us as Catholic globally, and a Pope that will give some stability to church doctrine and church principles. Because as you see in the last couple of weeks, what we have displayed as Catholics is church history, church doctrine, and this is what makes the Catholic Church the Catholic Church. So we need a Pope that will hold the line when it comes to certain key doctrinal issues that defines the Catholic Church, and also balance the scale when it comes to opening the doors for fresh air to continue to come into the church by way of reform on the path of Vatican II.
All right, Mr. Akapam, hold on a minute for me. I also have on the phone lines with me Most Reverend Bishop Osei Bonsu, the Emeritus Archbishop of Asante Mampong. I'm grateful to you, Bishop, for joining us here on Newsfeed. Finally, we're seeing white smoke. How does that make you feel? I mean, being a bishop of the Catholic Church.
Just one small correction. I'm Emeritus Bishop of Konongo Mampong.
Konongo Mampong. All right, thank you.
Konongo Mampong. Thank you. And your question again?
I was asking how all of this makes you feel. I mean, we've been waiting for a few days. Black smoke. Finally, we have the white smoke that we've all been expecting. How do you feel?
I am kind of surprised because it has gone so quickly.
Okay.
You know, in the case of the last two popes, I think it was 3 days, 4 days or something. This one, just one day. They started yesterday in the afternoon, and today, yeah, so it's very quick. We are all excited. We are waiting to see who it is. And the important thing is that we get somebody who will do the work properly, somebody who will embrace everybody, because being a Pope means you're a father to all, a father to all the 1.4 billion Catholics around the world. And so we look forward to seeing somebody who can reach out to all of us.
Mr. Akapom was just telling me about how the Pope would dress, how he would address the gathered. How significant are these things when he comes out later to the balcony?
Well.
I'm saying that
I'm
saying that Mr. Akapom, my other guest on the line, just told me about how the Pope will dress, how significant that is, how he'll be speaking to the crowd that is already gathered. And I'm asking how significant these things are when he's finally outdoors.
Well, I think it's very important. You know, people, the last 24 hours, some people have been staying there virtually, and it means a lot to them. They are not left as orphans. You know, Pope Francis died, and everybody was sad and so on. And I'm glad it hasn't taken too long. They have a replacement, and so I think it's important that he speaks words of comfort to those people who have been waiting.
Well, Pope Francis, before his passing, was regarded as the people's Pope, a more liberal Pope who undertook some reforms in the Catholic Church, something that a lot of people, some people did not actually like. They want a more traditional Pope who will stick to the traditions of the Catholic Church. What are your expectations of this Pope coming in?
Say the last one again, the last bit.
I was asking your expectations of this Pope, because some people criticized Pope Francis for being too liberal.
Yeah. Some people did not understand him. They thought he was maybe too liberal. But I think his intention was to reach out to those who were outside the church, those on the peripheries. I hope that the new Pope will also not take a far liberal attitude, but at least toward the line, the middle of the line, so that he can bring both those on the left and those on the right together.
If you are asked to advise this new Pope, which direction would you suggest him to take the Catholic Church?
Try to advise him?
Yes.
I will ask him to focus on the essentials of the church. You know, so of course you are Pope, and so whatever you say, people will look at critically, and so he has to be right in what he says. But at the same time, he has to reach out to those who don't agree with him. And there are people who will start already by saying that maybe he's too liberal, he's too conservative. We don't know who it is, but as soon as it's announced, you hear people tagging him, either too liberal or too conservative or something like that. But we hope that he can be himself and do the right thing.
Being himself, do you think that at this point in the history of the world, the church needs to be, relax its rules a bit and allow other people on the fringes to come in? There were questions about LGBTQ people in relation to Pope Francis. Do you think that the new Pope should relax the rules a bit?
I don't know what the new Pope will say, but the teaching about LGBTQ is not something that depends on the Pope. It's church doctrine. So it doesn't matter who is there, they will say the same thing. But of course, a matter of approach, how, LGBTQ is not allowed by the Catholic Church. It will be allowed by the Pope. Okay. But then it depends on how you reach out to those who are LGBTQ. Do you come out and say, you are wrong and you're out of the church and don't come near the church? Or you say, it's not allowed by the church, but let's see what we can do to help you, and so on. So being a Pope doesn't mean that you have a right to say what you want or believe what you want. There are certain things which are basic and which everybody, whether you're cardinal or Pope, must conform to.
Finally, before I let you go, we've all been rooting for Cardinal Peter Appiah Turkson. But does it really matter where this new Pope is coming from, whether he's Italian, whether he's Filipino, or from here in Ghana?
Well, since you are Ghanaians, we'll be very happy, if he was the Pope. But if he's not, we have to accept whoever is appointed Pope. The important thing is to get somebody who can do the work well. I'm sure he can do it, but there are many other cardinals, 133, and so many of them could have been chosen.
All right, I'm grateful to you, Bishop, Most Reverend Bishop Osei-Bonsu, the Bishop Emeritus of Konongo Mampong. Clement Akapam is still here with us. Thank you for staying through that interview with the Bishop. What would be your final word to the Catholic community?
It's an exciting moment. It's a time to wear your faith on your sleeve. I think that this moment of the passing of Pope Francis post-Easter and the election process has also been a silent evangelization process. We are in the month of May. For us, the month of May is a month of the Holy Rosary. So this is an opportunity for all Catholics to pray and invest prayer into the ministry of this new leader of the church, whoever he will be adored very soon. So my last words is that it's a very happy time to be a Catholic. And I mean, you can tell from my voice, I'm very giddy at the moment. And I can't wait to see the new Pope and shout again, Habemus Papa, Vivat Jesus.
Clement, finally, before I let you go, so there are the traditionals, we have the moderates and the liberals. As a young person, legal practitioner, where do you think this new Pope should focus?
I think that it's very interesting when we describe the work of priests or what they do in very plain political terms as liberal, moderates, but I think that what we need is someone who is able to straddle the line of holding church doctrine and also able to open the doors for others to come in. So it's not whether or not the person is a liberal or the person is an ultra-conservative. What is important is that this is a person who is going to lead a large population of Catholics, and that person should be able to first hold on to the principles and doctrines handed down to us from the Apostle Peter, sacred scripture, being able to hold the line when it comes to these doctrinal issues, and also being open to new things. I mean, we are all seeing how quick this conclave has happened. Is it a sign that the church is in a hurry to move ahead? We've all seen how the coverage of this particular event has been using technology, trying to explain the process. So new things have happened. So for me, I would actually want a pope that will hold the line when it comes to the faith, and then being able to bring others in also to enjoy what we're enjoying as Catholics. So that's for me the most important thing at this moment, and not whether the person is liberal or ultra-conservative.
If in the next hour it is announced that Cardinal Pierre Texin is the new Pope, what would that mean for the African continent and the church on the continent?
So that will be big news. I think that will be big news for Ghana, having Cardinal Pierre Texin from the Archdiocese of Cape Coast rising to that level will be great. It will signal also that the church is looking at the continent where the faith is most growing, because if you look at the demographics, Africa has the youngest growing population of Catholics over the period. So it will show a certain movement of the church as well. You know, the church and the popes would have centered in Europe, largely going to South America with Francis. So if the cardinals made a surgeon to Africa and it lands on Cardinal Pierre Texin, is going to be great history for the church. It's going to signal a new direction for the church. But as I said, it doesn't even matter whether the person is African or European, because you will see that the Catholic Church is very structured and there are things that you will ought to follow. So for us, whether an European, an Asian, because there's a leading candidate from Asia as well, Cardinal Tagle in the race as well, it would not matter. What will matter is that this person, once he's outdoored in a few minutes, will be welcomed by all Catholics worldwide. By the close of next week, his pictures will circulate in every Catholic church and every cathedral or basilica. People will start according him the position of the leader of the church, and also offering prayers that his reign and his papacy will continue to advance the faith and to continue to draw people to Christ. I think that's the ultimate thing. And if you know why then we have Rome as the headquarters, Peter actually came to Rome, and he was in Rome so that he will be able to use Rome as the place to propagate the gospel, because at that time Rome was well developed to be a point for him to propagate the gospel. So the ultimate aim of a successor of Peter, the ultimate aim of someone who will be leading the Catholic Church, will be to propagate the gospel so that it reaches the ends of the world. I mean, Pope Francis left us with a very key theme for the year 2025, which is Pilgrims of Hope. So this Pilgrims of Hope means that we are on a pilgrimage, we're traveling to the ends of the world, we are bringing hope to the hopeless through the word of God. So I will expect a new Pope to be riding on these principles, so that we are able to all make heaven one day, because that is the ultimate aim.
Now, on international politics, Pope Francis was heavily involved, and when he passed, there was a video circulating of him talking to Catholics in Gaza on video. What position do you think the Catholic Church should take in international politics, especially with the coming in of this new leader?
So you actually also know that the Vatican is a state, and the Pope is the head of state of the Vatican. So the Pope also has a role to play when it comes to geopolitics. And I think that in the popes that I've seen in my lifetime, I've seen John Paul, I've seen Benedict, I've seen Francis, and now I'm hoping to see the new one who will be 267th. What we will expect is that they will play that role of the key conscience when it comes to geopolitical issues, being a unifying force when it comes to geopolitical issues. So that is what I'll expect from the new Pope when he's playing his role as head of state of the state of Vatican. When he's playing that role, that is what I will expect from him.
All right, thank you very much, Clement Akapama. He's a Catholic. He's also a legal practitioner. I also have on the line, just joining us, the Most Reverend Philip Name. He's the Archbishop of Tamale. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here on Newsfeed. So you have a Pope now. I've asked all my guests how they feel about this. It's been a few days. We had some black smokes. Finally, the white is out. Tell me about how you feel. Hello, Most Reverend. This is Newsfeed, and we're actually covering what has just news that has just broke in the Vatican. News is that a new pope has been selected by the Catholic Church. We had some black smokes, and finally today, a white smoke just billowed out of the Sistine Church in the Vatican. That signals that a new pope has been selected by the 133 cardinals who went into conclave a few weeks ago. Now, we're also told that in the next few hours, that pope will be named and we'll be told exactly who that is. Well, here in Ghana, we have always been rooting we've always been rooting for Cardinal Peter Appiah Texan, who is a Ghanaian cardinal, part of these 133 people who went into conclave. I'm told that we have Reverend Philip Name, Most Reverend Philip Name, the Archbishop of Tamale, back on the line. Grateful to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on Channel One TV. Tell me how you feel about this new Pope that has finally been elected by the selectors.
You said?
I was asking you to first describe to me how you received the news that a new Pope has finally been selected by the cardinal electors.
I'm not interested.
Well, it looks like we've lost Most Reverend Philip Name on the line. This is Newsfeed on Channel One TV. News just coming in from the Vatican is that a new Pope has been elected. Pope Francis, he passed away on Easter Monday. Following that, his funeral has been held. He's been laid to rest. What was left was the election of a new Pope. 133 cardinals of the Catholic Church, of the Catholic Church went into conclave in the Vatican some days ago, and now we're told that the Pope has been selected. Now, about a few hours ago, we had a black smoke. I think yesterday there was also another black smoke. The black smoke signified that there was no agreement on who the next Pope would be, and the white one, which just came out a few hours ago, no, a few minutes ago, just signaling that they have a new Pope to lead the Catholic Church. I've been having some conversations with people from within the church who are all expectant of this new Pope. They're excited that finally they have a leader. Pope Francis was criticized somewhat for being too liberal, his views on LGBTQ and some other issues. The Catholic Church is traditionally a very traditional church. Some believe that the church should stick to its values. Here in Ghana, the Catholic group has already given indication that they do not support LGBTQ practices. And so this new Pope that is just coming in